Hello, everyone. Tonight, we embark on a haunting journey into the heart of China's Shaanxi region, where the mysterious corpse drivers weave their enigmatic tale. In the misty mountains and winding valleys, these shadowy figures, cloaked in black and wielding ancient rituals, guide the souls of the departed back to their ancestral homes. Known as the corpse drivers, they bridge the worlds of the living and the dead, carrying out a sacred duty steeped in Miao folklore. Join us as we unravel the origins and eerie nighttime processions of this vanishing tradition, a story that blends reverence for home with the whispers of the supernatural. So before you get comfortable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I'm doing here. Please just tell me in the comments where you tuned in and when. It's always fascinating to see people from all over the world joining us. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for a soft background hum, and let's ease into our journey tonight. Long, long ago, when Shaanxi was still a wild and untamed frontier, the Miao people's legendary ancestor, Apu Chiyu, known as the fierce warrior Chiyu, led his tribes against invaders, staining the mountains red with blood. The story goes that Chiyu, heartbroken by the sight of his fallen warriors lying far from home, sought a sacred ritual from the gods of witchcraft. Standing atop a towering peak, he waved his staff, chanting ancient incantations under a moonlit sky. Miraculously, the lifeless bodies of his soldiers rose, forming a solemn procession that shuffled toward their homeland under the pale glow of the moon. This, they say, was the birth of the corpse-driving ritual, a mystic art to guide souls back to their roots. Centuries passed, and though the wars faded into memory, the Miao people's belief in returning to one's roots remained unshaken. Shaanxi, cradled by the winding Yuan River and its rugged terrain, was a place where treacherous paths and towering peaks made transporting the dead a daunting task. Carrying coffins through the mountains was arduous, sometimes impossible. Thus, the art of corpse driving was born. The corpse drivers, inheritors of Chiyou's ancient magic, became the keepers of this sacred duty, guiding the dead through the night to rest in their native soil. Now you sit by the dim glow of an oil lamp in a cramped, wooden room that smells of mildew and ancient cedar. The village elder leans forward, his face half-shadowed, his voice a low rasp that seems to rise from the earth itself.
Listen well.
He says, his eyes like twin coals boring into yours.
This is your story. The night you walked with the corpse driver. A night that marked you forever.
The air grows heavy, as if the walls themselves are listening, and you feel a shiver crawl up your spine, not from the cold but from the weight of what's to come. It's the summer of your 25th year, and you're adrift in the concrete jungle of the city, a place of neon lights and restless noise. Your life is ordinary, work, sleep, repeat, but there's a restlessness in you, a hunger for something you can't name. Your grandmother's stories linger in your mind, tales of Shaanxi, a land of jagged mountains and secrets older than time. She spoke of the Hurin, the corpse drivers, who guide the dead through the night, their bodies swaying under moonlight, bound by charms and the will of the living. You always thought they were just stories, meant to scare children or fill quiet evenings. Until the letter arrives. It's a thin, yellowed envelope, postmarked from Shiloh village, a place you've never heard of. Inside is a single sheet of paper, the handwriting shaky but deliberate. It's from your uncle, Lao Chen, a man you've never met, a shadow from your father's past.
Come to Shiloh.
It reads,
I am dying. I must return to Shangyin, my true home. Only you can help me.
Clipped to the letter is a faded photograph of a young man with your father's eyes, standing beside a river, the mountains of Shaanxi looming behind him. Your father, who left that place decades ago and never spoke of it, is gone now, leaving you with questions he never answered. The letter stirs something deep within you, like a stone dropped into still water. You feel a pull, inexplicable but undeniable, as if the mountains themselves are calling. You pack a small bag, clothes, a flashlight, your grandmother's old jade pendant for luck, and board a creaking bus bound for western Hunan. The city fades behind you, replaced by rolling hills, then sharp peaks cloaked in mist. The bus rattles along dirt roads, the driver muttering about storms in the mountains. Hours pass, and the sky darkens, the air growing thick with the promise of rain. When you step off the bus in Shiloh, night has fallen like a heavy curtain. The village is a cluster of wooden houses perched on a hillside, their windows shuttered against the dark. The air smells of wet earth, pine, and something faintly acrid, like burning herbs. A lone dog barks in the distance, its cry swallowed by the wind. You clutch the letter, your boots sinking into the muddy path, and make your way to Lao Chen's house, guided by a villager's vague directions. The house is small, its roof sagging under years of neglect. You knock, and the door creaks open, revealing a room lit by a single candle. Lao Chen lies on a straw mat, his face gaunt, his breath a faint wheeze. His eyes, though clouded with pain, light up when he sees you.
You came,
He whispers, his bony hand gripping yours with surprising strength.
I knew you would. Blood calls to blood.
He tells you his story in fragments, his voice fading in and out. He was born in Shangyun, a village 50 miles away, nestled in a valley so remote no road reaches it. He left years ago, seeking a better life, but now, as death approaches, he longs to return.
The dead must lie in their homeland,
He says, his eyes feverish.
or the soul wanders, lost forever.
He speaks of the Huron, the corpse drivers, a dying breed who know the old ways.
Find old Manway.
He says,
He's the last of them. He'll take me home. But you must go too. My soul needs you, my kin, to guide it.
you want to ask more, why you, why now, but Lao Chen's strength fails, and he slips into a fitful sleep. You sit by his side, the candle casting shadows that twist like spirits on the walls. The weight of his words settles over you, heavy as the mountain mist outside. Morning dawns gray and cold, the village shrouded in fog so thick you can barely see the house across the path. You ask around about Old Man Way, but the villagers are wary, their eyes darting away.
He lives in the forest,
One old woman says, clutching a string of prayer beads.
beyond the black pines. Be careful. He speaks to the dead.
Her words send a chill through you, but you have no choice. Lao Chen's time is short, and you feel the pull of his plea, like a thread tied to your heart. The forest is dense, the trees towering overhead, their branches laced with moss that drips like tears. The path is barely a trail, overgrown with ferns and slick with dew. The air grows colder as you walk, the scent of pine mingling with something sharper, like rotting leaves or old blood. You hear whispers, not voices, but the rustle of leaves, the creak of branches, as if the forest is alive and watching. Wei's hut appears suddenly, a squat structure of weathered wood half hidden by vines. The door is ajar, and a thin wisp of smoke curls from a clay chimney. You hesitate, your hand hovering over the door, then knock. The sound echoes, too loud in the silence.
Enter.
A voice calls, low and rough, like stones grinding together. Inside, the air is thick with the smell of herbs and incense. Old Man Wei sits by a small fire, his tall frame hunched, his face a map of deep lines. His eyes are dark, unreadable, like pools of ink, and his black robe seems to absorb the light. A copper gong rests on a low table beside a stack of yellow talismans, their edges curling with age.
You're Chen's kin.
He says, not a question but a statement.
You want me to take him home?
You nod, your throat tight. Wei rises, moving with a grace that belies his age, and studies you.
It's not just him I'll take.
He says,
You must come. The dead need the living to anchor them. Without you, his soul could stray.
the words hang in the air, heavy with meaning you don't fully grasp. You want to refuse, to run back to the safety of the city, but Lao Chen's face flashes in your mind, and you agree. Wei hands you a small cloth pouch, its contents shifting softly.
Juniper ash and cinnabar.
He says.
Keep it close. It wards off what lingers in the dark.
He tells you to return at dusk, when Lao Chen's soul will be ready. As you leave, you glance back, and for a moment you swear you see a shadow move behind Wei, tall and thin, but when you blink, it's gone. You spend the day in Lao Chen's house, watching his chest rise and fall, each breath weaker than the last. The village women come, silent and solemn, bringing bowls of rice and sprigs of cedar to place around his bed. They whisper prayers, their voices a soft chant that fills the room like smoke. One of them, an old woman with a face like crumpled paper, touches your arm.
You're brave to go with Wei.
She says.
Not all who walk with the Huron return the same.
Her words haunt you as the sun sets, painting the sky blood red. Lao Chen stirs, his eyes opening briefly.
Thank you.
He murmurs, his voice barely audible.
Don't be afraid.
Then he's gone, his body still, the room suddenly colder. The women begin their work, washing his body with herb-scented water, dressing him in a long black robe. They tie a high, cylindrical hat over his face, its brim casting a shadow that hides his features. A yellow talisman, inscribed with red characters, is pinned to his forehead, and you feel a prickle of unease, as if the air has thickened. Wei arrives as the moon rises, his black robe blending with the night. He carries a bamboo pole, a coil of grass rope, and a small leather bag that clinks softly. He works with practiced efficiency, tying the rope around Lao Chen's waist and securing the pole under his arms to keep him upright. The pole is cleverly hidden beneath the robe, but the sight of your uncle's body, rigid yet poised, makes your stomach churn.
He's ready,
Wei says, his voice calm but firm.
Are you?
You ask how it works, how a body can move. Wei's eyes narrow, and he gestures to the talisman.
The charm binds the soul. The pole holds the form. My will guides them both.
He pauses, then adds,
Some say the dead walk because they want to. Others say it's the Huron who makes them. You'll see for yourself.
He hands you a smaller gong and a striker, the metal cold against your palm.
Stay close. Strike this if I tell you. And whatever you hear, whatever you see, do not look back.
Midnight comes, and you step into the darkness, the village silent behind you. Wei leads, striking his copper gong with a slow, deliberate rhythm. Dang, dang, dang. The sound reverberates through the valley, a warning to the living, a summons to the dead. Lao Chen's body follows, swaying slightly, the bamboo pole making his movements eerily lifelike. You walk behind, clutching the small gong, your breath visible in the chill air. The path is narrow, carved into the mountainside, its edges crumbling into a void below. Mist swirls around your ankles, cold and clammy, like fingers brushing your skin. The forest looms on your left, its trees twisted into shapes that seem almost human in the moonlight. You smell pine, damp earth, and something faint but unsettling, decay, perhaps, or the herbs coating Lao Chen's body. The gong's rhythm is your lifeline, grounding you as the night presses in. You try to focus on Wei's back, his robe a dark shape against the mist, but your eyes keep drifting to Lao Chen. His hat bobs with each step, the talisman fluttering as if caught in a breeze, though the air is still. You tell yourself it's the pole, the rope, a trick of the Huron's craft, but doubt gnaws at you. What if there's something more? What if he's not just a body but something, awake? An hour into the journey, you hear it, a faint sound, like a sigh, coming from behind you. Your heart lurches, and you grip the gong tighter, resisting the urge to look back. Wei doesn't pause, his gong steady, but his voice cuts through the dark. Ignore it! The night plays tricks. You nod, though he can't see, and force your eyes forward. But the sound comes again, softer, almost a word, and you swear it's Lao Chen's voice, whispering your name. You stumble, your foot catching on a root, and Lao Chen's body sways dangerously close to the cliff's edge. Wei spins, grabbing the pole with a speed that startles you, his eyes blazing.
Focus,
He snaps.
he trusts you. Don't break that trust.
You mumble an apology, your hands shaking as you adjust your grip on the gong. Wei softens, just slightly.
It's your first night. You'll learn.
The path climbs higher, the air thinning, the mist growing thicker until you can barely see 10 feet ahead. The forest feels alive, its whispers louder now, rustling leaves, snapping twigs, or something else, something that watches from the shadows. You clutch the pouch of ash and cinnabar, its weight a small comfort. Wei's gong keeps its rhythm, but you notice he's chanting under his breath, words you don't understand, sharp and guttural, like a language older than the mountains. As the night deepens, the path levels out, leading into a narrow gorge where the cliffs rise like silent sentinels. The mist is so thick it feels like walking through water, and the gong's sound is muffled, as if the air itself is swallowing it. You're tired, your legs aching, your eyes burning from staring into the dark, but fear keeps you moving. Then you see it, a shadow, tall and thin, moving parallel to the path, just beyond the mist. It's not Wei, not Lao Chun, but something else, its form flickering like a flame. Your breath catches, and you tighten your grip on the gong, ready to strike it, but Wei's voice stops you.
Don't.
He hisses, without turning.
It's not for us. Keep walking.
You obey, though every instinct screams to run. The shadow paces you, its movements jerky, unnatural, like a puppet on broken strings. You hear a low moan, not from Lao Chun but from the shadow, and the air grows colder, your breath frosting despite the summer night. The pouch at your waist feels heavier, as if warning you, and you press it against your side, whispering a prayer you half remember from childhood. The shadow vanishes as suddenly as it appeared, the moan fading into the wind. Wei stops, turning to check Lao Chen's talisman.
It's holding,
He says, his voice tight.
but we're not alone tonight.
He meets your eyes, and for the first time, you see a flicker of unease in his.
Stay close. The gorge is old. Things linger here.
You ask what it was, your voice trembling. Wei hesitates, then says,
A wanderer. A soul that lost its way. They're drawn to the Huron's path, to the living and the dead.
He taps the pouch at your waist.
That's why you carry this. It keeps them at bay for now.
The gorge stretches on, the cliffs pressing closer, their surfaces slick with moss and etched with faint carvings, symbols you don't recognize, angular and ancient. The air smells of wet stone and something metallic, like blood. You hear the sigh again, closer now, and this time it's unmistakable, your name, whispered in Lao Chen's voice. You freeze, your heart hammering, but Wei grabs your arm, his grip like iron.
Don't answer.
He says.
It's not him. Strike the gong.
You strike it, the sound sharp and clear, cutting through the mist. The whisper stops, and the air lightens, but your hands shake as you lower the gong. Wei nods, approving.
Good. You're stronger than you think.
But you don't feel strong. You feel like a child lost in a nightmare, clinging to a stranger and a dead man for safety. As dawn approaches, the gorge opens into a clearing, and Wei leads you to a crumbling stone building half buried in vines. The dead man's inn, he says, his voice low. We rest here. The inn is ancient, its walls blackened by time, its windows empty sockets staring into the dark. The air smells of damp earth and decay, and you hear a faint drip, like water falling into a pool somewhere deep inside. Wei props Lao Chun against the wall, checking the talisman and adjusting the pole. The body stands upright, its hat casting a shadow that seems too long, too sharp. You shudder, turning away, and follow Wei inside. The interior is a single room, its floor dirt, its ceiling sagging with rot. A rusted brazier holds a few glowing coals, casting flickering light on the walls, where faint scratches form patterns that make your head ache. An old man, the innkeeper, shuffles out from a curtained alcove. His face is hidden by a hood, and he doesn't look at Lao Chun, only at Wei.
One night.
He says, his voice like dry leaves.
No problem.
Wei nods, handing him a coin etched with strange symbols. The innkeeper retreats, and you're alone with Wei and the dead. Wei sets up a small altar, incense, a candle, a bowl of rice, and begins a chant, his voice low and rhythmic. The incense smoke curls upward, forming shapes that twist and dissolve, and you feel a strange calm, despite the oppressive atmosphere. You sit on the floor, eating a cold bun from your pack, its taste like ash in your mouth.
Why do I need to be here?
You ask, breaking the silence. Wei looks at you, the firelight glinting in his eyes.
The dead need a tether to the living. You're his blood, his kin. Your presence keeps his soul steady, reminds him where home is.
He pauses, then adds,
And the Huron needs you too. The path is heavy. You share the burden.
You ask about the shadow, the whisper. Wei's face hardens.
The mountains are old. They hold more than the living. Wanderers' spirits, things with no name, they walk where we walk. The Huron keeps them at bay, but they're always there, waiting.
He taps the pouch at your waist.
Don't lose it, and don't speak to what calls your name.
You spend the day in the inn, unable to sleep. The drip 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 echoes in your ears, and the scratches on the walls seem to shift when you're not looking. You hear footsteps outside, soft and uneven, but when you peer through the window, there's nothing but mist. Wei sleeps slightly, his hand on the gong, and you wonder how many nights he's spent like this, walking with the dead, guarding against the dark. Night falls, and you leave the inn, the mist thicker than before, the air colder. Wei's gong resumes its rhythm, and Lao Chen's body moves with a smoothness that unnerves you. The path climbs higher, winding through a forest of black pines, their needles sharp and glistening like knives. The ground is soft, sucking at your boots, and you smell decay, stronger now, mingling with the herbs on Lao Chen's body. The whispers return, louder, more insistent. They're not just your name now but words, fragmented and pleading.
Help. Home. Lost.
You grit your teeth, focusing on Wei's back, but the voices pull at you, like hands tugging your soul. Wei's chant grows sharper, and he strikes the gong harder, the sound of physical force that pushes the whispers back. You reach a bridge, a rickety span of rope and wood swaying over a chasm. The wind howls, carrying the scent of rot and something sweeter, like overripe fruit. Wei crosses first, his steps sure, Lao Chen's body following without hesitation. You grip the ropes, your palms burning, and step onto the bridge, the boards creaking under your weight. Halfway across, you hear a laugh, a high, keening sound that isn't human. You freeze, your eyes darting to the chasm below, where shapes move in the mist, pale and writhing.
Move.
Wei shouts, his voice cutting through the laugh. You stumble forward, striking your gong, the sound drowning out the noise. The shapes vanish, and you reach the other side, your legs trembling. Wei grabs your shoulder, steadying you.
You're doing well,
he says, but his eyes are worried.
The path tests us all.
The forest grows denser, the trees closing in until you're walking through a tunnel of branches. The air is stifling, the smell of decay overwhelming. You notice Lao Chen's talisman fluttering again, its edges fraying, and you point it out to Wei. He curses under his breath, stopping to replace it with a fresh one, his hands steady but quick.
The soul's restless,
he says.
We're close to the heart of the mountains. It's fighting to stay.
You ask what he means, and Wei's voice drops.
The dead don't always want to go. Some cling to the world, to unfinished things. Your uncle, he left Shangyin for a reason. Something holds him here.
You think of the photograph, your father's face, and wonder what secrets they shared, what drove them apart. The path descends into a valley, the air thick with mist and the scent of sulfur. The ground is rocky, littered with bones, small, brittle animal, you hope. The trees are gone, replaced by jagged stones that loom like teeth in the dark. Wei's gong is a solitary sound, echoing off the cliffs, and you feel eyes on you, not one pair but many, watching from places you can't name. The whispers are a chorus now, overlapping, pleading, angry.
Stay me forever.
You clutch the pouch, your knuckles white, and strike the gong without Wei's command. The sound clears the air, but only for a moment. You see shadows again, not one but several, flitting between the rocks, their forms twisting into faces, hollow eyes, gaping mouths. Your breath comes in gasps, and you feel a cold hand brush your neck, so real you spin around, but there's nothing there. Wei stops, his gong silent, and he turns to you, his face grim.
They're strong here,
he says.
This is the heart of the mountains, where the veil is thinnest. Hold fast.
He pulls a vial from his bag, its contents glowing faintly green, and pours it around Lao Chen's feet, chanting louder now, his voice a command. The shadows retreat, their screams fading, but the air remains heavy, pressing against your chest. You ask Wei what they are, your voice barely audible.
Wraiths,
he says.
Souls who never found home. They want what Lao Chen has, a guide, a tether. They want you.
His words chill you, and you realize the pouch isn't just protection, it's a target, marking you as part of the Hurin's work. The valley stretches on, the rocks growing larger, their carvings glowing faintly in the moonlight. You see scenes, battles, rituals, figures with outstretched hands, their eyes carved deep, like pits. The whispers return, softer but more personal.
Your father, he knew. He ran.
You shake your head, trying to block them out, but they burrow deeper, stirring memories of your father's silence, his haunted eyes. Lao Chen's body stumbles, the pole catching on a rock, and you lunge to steady it, your hands brushing his robe. It's cold, unnaturally so, and you feel a jolt, like touching a live wire. His hat shifts, revealing a glimpse of his face, eyes open, gray and unseeing, but fixed on you. You stagger back, your heart racing, and Wei grabs the pole, his face tight.
Don't look at him,
He says.
it's not him. Not yet.
You ask what he means, your voice shaking. Wei hesitates, then says,
The soul isn't fully bound. It's fighting the charm, pulling at you. You're his kin. He sees you even now.
You feel sick, the weight of your role crushing you. You're not just a guide, you're a bridge, a conduit for something you don't understand. The valley rises, the path climbing toward a ridge where the stars burn coldly overhead. The mist is gone, the air clear but heavy, like a held breath. Wei's gong is softer now, almost a whisper, and Lao Chen's body moves with a purpose that terrifies you. The talisman is frayed again, its character smudged, and Wei replaces it, his hands shaking slightly, a crack in his calm. The whispers are gone, replaced by a silence that's worse, as if the world is waiting. You hear your own footsteps, the creak of the pole, the soft rustle of Lao Chen's robe, and nothing else. The ridge feels exposed, the cliffs dropping away on both sides, the wind carrying a moan that might be the mountains or something else. You see lights in the distance, Shangyan village, a cluster of fires like a beacon in the dark. Your heart lifts, but Wei's voice is grim.
The last mile is the hardest. The soul knows it's close. It fights to stay.
He tells you to strike the gong, and you do, the sound steadying you. But the air grows colder, the talisman darkening, and you feel a pull, like something tugging at your soul. Lao Chen's body staggers, the pole bending under his weight, and you hear a voice, clear, unmistakable, your uncle's.
I don't want to go.
It says, not from the body but from the air around you. You freeze, your gong slipping from your hands, and Wei spins, his eyes wide.
Strike it.
He shouts, but you're paralyzed, the voice filling your mind.
Stay with me. Don't let me go.
Wei grabs the gong, striking it himself, the sound a thunderclap that shakes the ridge. The voice stops, and Lao Chen's body straightens, the talisman glowing faintly. Wei grabs your arm, his face inches from yours.
You can't listen to him.
He says.
He's not himself. You're his anchor. Hold fast.
You nod, tears stinging your eyes, and pick up the gong, your hands shaking. The shadows return, circling the path, their forms clearer now, men, women, children, their faces twisted in agony. They reach for Lao Chen, their hands passing through him, and you feel their despair, cold and crushing. You strike the gong, again and again, the sound driving them back, but they keep coming, their voices a wail.
Take us, please.
Wei chants, his voice hoarse, and pours the last of his vial around Lao Chen's feet. The shadows scream, retreating, but one lingers, a woman, her face half gone, her eyes locked on yours.
You'll come back,
she says, her voice soft but certain. Then she's gone, and the night is silent again. You reach Shangyan as dawn breaks, the sky a bruise of purple and gold. The village is small, its houses huddled around a central square where a fire burns. The elders wait, their faces somber, their hands clutching incense. Wei stops at the square's edge, striking his gong one final time, the sound echoing off the mountains. He removes the talisman, and Lao Chen's body slumps, the pole falling away. The elders approach, lifting Lao Chen's body and carrying him to a grave prepared at the hill's edge. They chant, their voices rising with smoke of the incense, and you feel a release, the weight of lifting from your chest. A woman, your aunt, her face lined with grief and gratitude, takes your hand, her eyes cold.
Thank you,
she says.
You brought him home.
Wei hands you the talisman, its paper blank now, and its edges soft as ash.
Keep it close.
he says.
You did well. Not many could.
His voice carries a quiet respect in it, and you feel a flicker of pride, though you're too drained to fully embrace it. You stay in Shanyan for a week, learning about Lao Chen's life, his youth in the village, his dreams, his estrangement from your father. The villagers treat you as kin, sharing stories that weave a tapestry of your family's past. You visit Lao Chen's grave, the earth fresh, the incense still smoldering, and feel a peace, a sense that he's where he belongs. But the night lingers. You dream of the path, the shadows, the voice that called your name. The talisman sits on your desk in the city apartment, a silent reminder of what you've seen. You touch the jade pendant, its warmth grounding you, but you wonder about the woman's words. You'll come back. The city feels too loud, too bright, and you find yourself staring at the distance, the mountains calling, their secrets unfinished. The elder's voice fades as the lamp sputters out, the room plunging into darkness.
That was your story.
He says, though you can't see his face.
Or perhaps it's still being written.
You shiver, the air cold, and the weight of the talisman in your pocket heavier than it should be.